The Israeli military has rescued one of the hostages taken in the October 7th terror attacks led by Hamas. Israeli officials said that Qaid Farhan Alkadi was found in a tunnel in southern Gaza. He's the first hostage to be rescued alive underground. Alkadi is recovering in hospital where his medical condition is described as normal. Hamas is thought to be still holding around 110 hostages. About a third of them are believed to be dead. Well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with Alkadi shortly after he arrived in hospital. He vowed to bring home the remaining hostages.
Welcome
home, Farhan Alkadi. I congratulate the Israeli army and Shin Bet on another successful rescue operation. We are working tirelessly to bring all our hostages back. We are doing this in two main ways, through negotiations and through rescue operations. Both approaches require our military presence on the ground and continuous military pressure on Hamas. We will continue to operate in this manner until we bring home everyone.
I'd like to welcome Laura Blumenfeld now. She is a Middle East analyst, a New York Times best-selling author and a senior fellow at the Philip Merrill Center for Strategic Studies at Johns Hopkins School for Advanced International Studies. Welcome to you. Hostage rescues by Israel are relatively rare. What do you make of this latest release?
They're rare indeed. It's only the fourth hostage rescue in 10 months where the Israelis and multinationals have been held in Hamas. Look, he humanizes the hostage issue. It's hard to keep those faces to believe that they're real. They're not just posters, they're real people. And this was a father of 11 who came out squinting because he hadn't seen sunlight for months, 40 pounds thinner. I would say the second notable thing is he's a Muslim. He's an Arab. He spoke Hebrew, though, because he's a citizen of Israel, and the commanding officer, the Israeli military officer who welcomed him, greeted him in Arabic, which kind of pushes back on the narrative that Israel is an apartheid country, but more realistically, a kind of multinational, multi-ethnic community. The 12 Druze children who were killed by the Hezbollah rocket last month that kicked off the most recent cycle of retaliation in the north also weren't Jewish. So I think that's notable as well. And then finally, I think that, today, while we were celebrating the rescue of one hostage, there was a funeral for another one of the bodies that was recovered last week. There were 6 hostages who were not rescued. So I think that adds some pressure to reach a negotiated deal.
I wanted to ask you about that. How do you think this affects any potential ceasefire deal to bring remaining hostages home?
Well, the hostage families note that there are at least 70 of the 100 remaining hostages who they believe are alive. And it's not realistic, although Prime Minister Netanyahu says they can do both. They can do rescue operations, but also hostage negotiations. It's not realistic to think that they'll all be freed by the military. I do think that today's operation puts pressure on Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, as well as the unsuccessful attack by Hezbollah on Saturday night, because it just shows that, Hamas is on the defense and the military is not the way that they're going to achieve their goal. So I do think that's a good sign. It's harder to reach Sinwar now. He's cut off. He's in the tunnels. The negotiations do continue, though. I believe that they're continuing tomorrow in Doha with low-level working groups. We're up to kind of nuts and bolts details. Unfortunately, the devil in this case is in the details, and it's going to be hard to get there.
Laura, a bit more broadly, Israel is fighting conflicts on multiple fronts, including in Gaza, as well as against Iran's various proxies like Yemen's Houthis and Hezbollah in Lebanon, as you just mentioned. How long do you think Israel can withstand all this?
Well, look, the Iran and its proxies are playing the long game. They have a doomsday clock ticking backward in Palestine Square in Tehran to 2040, where they predict that Israel will be annihilated. That's one of the reasons why Prime Minister Netanyahu is pushing so hard for what he calls total victory. I mean, for him, it's, the hostages today. Yes, those are the faces that we see, but if you trade them for Palestinian prisoners, those are going to be 10 or 100 more hostages tomorrow. This is why he feels like it's so important to push back in that way and re-achieve the deterrence that they've been trying to reclaim after the surprise attack on October 7th. So much of this war has been about intelligence, the achievement by taking out Hania in Tehran, which was an intelligence coup for Israel, and Shukr, who is the commander of Hezbollah in Lebanon. For Netanyahu, that's his way back to redemption, showing not only can they be smart, they can be smart and strong.
That was Middle East analyst Laura Blumenfeld there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.